Point number 2 in success after iOS 14 is really measuring for incremental lift and focusing on PSM. So we're going to focus on these 2 parts here. So number 1, incremental lift. Let's debunk the idea of attribution. Number 1, attribution is a lie. Bottom line, there is no way that you could realistically say that all of your customers behave in the same way. There is no way that you can say one ad takes credit for the sale. That's nonsense. There's no way that you can say, well, this ad did everything. This search thing did everything. That does not actually match the way users do anything, the way that any person behaves. You might buy because of a certain string of impressions and conversations and exposure to marketing materials that I might never have. We might buy the same thing, but the attribution of who gets credit for the sale has nothing to do with the audience or the ad that drove the result. Those are the things that are lucky enough in that false equivalency used car salesman thinking to be the last touch point. So we have to ultimately move away from this nearly 3-decade-old lie, and again, sales pitch from people that didn't understand what they were doing, and start to move into a concept of incremental lift. When I do the job well, and I have the best relationship I can with my partner, and I invest more with that partner, do I get a return above and beyond my investment? If the answer is yes, great. If the answer is no, then you have work to do. Now, one of the biggest things that we have to focus here is this is why interest groups and lookalikes don't matter. This is why retargeting is actually a really big liability when you start to really move accounts. This is why broad audiences is actually the only thing you probably need until you're spending $10, $20, $30, $40, $50,000 a day. And it's because of this simple concept. The more people that you can reach with ads that, again, you've qualified that people want to see, the more customer journeys that you can begin or curate. Now, those people might come to your site because of organic social. They might come to your site because of an email. They might come to your site because a friend told them about something. They might come to your site because of search or a million other things that your Google Analytics is telling you actually matters. None of those things actually matter. What really matters is how many of those journeys can you start and how cheaply and effectively can you start them? And more importantly, how similar are they all? So that you can work on the quality and the quantity of them because they're so similar. And what that allows you to do is understand after the click, how to optimize the conversion rate, how to improve your email open rates, how to improve LTV and customer service. Because if you're driving 20 different types of people into your store, that is legitimately 20 times or more difficult to optimize for than one type of customer. The bottom line is, unless you're spending $1 million a month or more, you probably don't need to really appeal to more than 2 or 3 types of people. There are quite literally millions of individuals that you can probably sell your product to in America, or in smaller countries it might be a little bit less, but more than enough for the amount of money that you're spending. And if you just focus on getting those people more efficiently and getting a higher volume of higher quality folks that are like that by working on your ads, what you're going to see is greater amount of search volume. Your email open rates are going to go up. Your direct from social is going to go up. Your direct organic is going to go up. Why? Because you're reaching more people with content that they want to see that's specifically designed to curate a customer journey that ultimately primes and conditions them to take an action. It has very little to do with what ad was lucky enough at the last point to get somebody across the finish line. Again, that's why UTMs, attribution, ad sets, ads, who gets credit is nonsense. Now, you can be successful running things like that. You can do a bad job and still make money. But you can do a good job and make way more money working a lot less and be way less reliant on everybody else on the team who you're kind of, taking a dump on, empowering them instead of inhibiting them. Teamwork is way more effective than trying to take credit for the work that everybody else is doing, which, when you are running these smaller audiences, when you are running retargeting, when you are trying to complicate things, your success is specifically built on the back of other people's work, and you're trying to take credit for that work to validate your own efforts. Now, that might not be the way that you think about it, but if you legitimately think that your interest group with that ad is the reason that that sale occurred, and that's a scalable solution en masse, and that has nothing to do with the inability for your landing page team to improve LTV and the conversion rate also through all of the email funnels, if you don't think that your effort to make your reporting look better doesn't hurt everybody else, maybe it's time to go back and rewatch some of this. Because remember, what matters most is the highest volume of highest quality people to generate what we call incremental lift across a successful business model. Ultimately, Facebook shouldn't be your source of sales. Facebook is the thing that amplifies everything else. And if it amplifies everything else, then when we try to optimize it to take credit for everybody else's work, we're undermining everybody else, not amplifying them. We're like that manager who takes credit for every idea that their team presents to them. You didn't do that. And one of the ways that we can tell for sure that you didn't is what happens when people just stop running all those other things. Your results are going to get worse. And when you start to really embrace incremental lift, running it broad with dynamic creatives, working on estimated action rate to really improve the customer journey, when you turn your ads off, everybody else is going to get worse because you're amplifying their efforts, not stealing from them. Now, the other part in here that we talked about is PSM, and I want to touch base on that really quickly for a second. PSM is profitable scaling margin. Basically, how much money can you make off of the customer journey for a specific product or offer? Now, a lot of you are, with your best efforts, probably promoting 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 different products. That's a mistake. If you're promoting more than one product, I really hope you are spending thousands of dollars a day. Here's the problem. In PSM, profitable scaling margin, we are looking at the lifetime value of the customer divided by how much it costs to acquire them and how much it costs to get that product into their hands. That's ultimately the total margin on that customer. Now, you might get a ROAS of a 5 on some sale. But if that product costs a lot to make and the LTV wasn't that much better than your cost per sale and the cost to make it, that 5x ROAS might mean that you lost 10 cents. Let me give you an extreme example. I was running lead gen for Nissan to do the alpha for the lead gen ad unit. It cost me maybe $50 to get somebody to go into a sale, to go into a test drive for Nissan Sentra, $25,000 car. Now, the conversion rate on that was pretty good. If you're taking a test drive of that car, more than half of the people are buying it. So let's just say half of the people bought it. Well, my Facebook ROAS would be a 250. Does that sound reasonable? No. But if 1 out of 2 leads drives the sale of a $25,000 vehicle, my Facebook ROAS is a 250, and that's what you're saying all the time. So my point is, instead of trying to focus on the best ROAS of everything, understand the profit margin per sale. I'll give one other example about this. Alcohol delivery-based brand here out of LA, they had a Facebook rep, guru expert guy, running their Facebook ad account, and they could not scale past about $400 or $500 a day. And they were getting a 3, 4, 5x ROAS on it, and they were stoked, doing deliveries to Los Angeles and San Francisco. Good for them. When we started focusing on PSM, incremental lift, what we call ecosystem ROAS, and really optimizing our creatives to be good partners to Facebook, We pivoted from trying to make Facebook look good to getting a $20 to $30 profit per customer. When we did that, we could raise our spend from $400 or $500 a day to $3,000 to $4,000 a day. What do you think happened to the cash flow of that business when we were able to 6 to 10x daily spend and profit on every single one of those customers? What do you think happened to their bottom line? What do you think happened to their month-over-month profit margins? Now, some days our Facebook ROAS looked like a 4. Some days it looked like a 0.4. But I didn't care because we weren't worried about taking credit. Ultimately, we concerned ourselves with making money by being a team player. And what that looked like more than anything was we figured out what offer could we get a sale for and deliver to the customer with the largest margin between that front end and the LTV of the customer. We looked at, well, this offer, we might break even, but we know somebody's likely to buy 2 or 3 times after that. So we can 3x our money if we break even selling this because that's how much that LTV is worth. That's a 1x ROAS for a 3x return. That's how you start to make money. We didn't care about ROAS or MER because look, those numbers don't mean anything. And if you feel like they do, let me ask you a question. If you run an email campaign on Black Friday sale and your Facebook ROAS comes in at a 10, does that mean you did a good job? The answer is no. Think about it. Now, the last thing I want to cover today is something that's really important. But I just want to say, if you're still here watching this, go ahead and give a like. It means the world to me. And subscribe and tell your friends. Now,